this one up.
Hell yeah, dude. Thanks, rad. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem.
I gotta go get my shit together for the airport.
Yeah, you gotta get back.
I gotta set my
On a plane.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? So in the last video, we got some progress done on the twin turbo manifold for the MR2. And yesterday, I finished mocking up all of the runners, and today I'm going to be welding everything up. My buddy Nick came down and he gave me a hand with that, so shout out to Nick for helping me out. But yeah, take a look at this, guys. All the runners are tacked up where they're going to be, and I think this thing is coming out just sweet. It looks really cool. And something else I wanted to mention, I did pin the comment, but in the last video, I said that 1 and 3 needed to go together to one turbo, and then like 2 and 4 to the other, but I was wrong. 2 and 3, the 2 middle ones need to go to one side, and then 1 and 4, the 2 outer ones need to go to the other. So I was wrong about that. If you look at any manifold that's divided with a twin scroll housing, that's how they do it. And yeah, Hayden corrected me the day I got that done. So I did have to break off this runner. This one originally went over to here. I had to redo that. And yeah, we got these other 3 made though. This one right here going on the outside was definitely the hardest, but I think it came out really cool. So my next step now is to get this thing unbolted off of the head, and I'm going to be welding up the runners one by one. I'm going to cut the tacks from the head flange and then the tacks from the collector, fully welded up, and then put it back on, tack it in place, and then just keep doing them one at a time till all the welds are done on the runners. Then we'll get the collectors fully welded, and then the head flange welds done. And I'd like to be done with this tonight, but we'll just see how far we can get. And I also need to try to get this done tonight because I need to get this thing back to the shop since my trailer has been sitting outside waiting to take the MR2 back, and it's kind of taking up a lot of space on my road outside. So I'm going to try to get her knocked out tonight. Well, guys, here it is in all her glory. The new manifold for the MR2. Check that out. 1 T3 flange there. 1 T3 flange there. We got 2 flanges for 2 turbos. This is gonna be sick. This is definitely one of the nicest turbo manifolds I have ever made. The prep work beforehand definitely pays off. It makes it look so freaking good. And yeah, just got all of the welding done. and I back purged everything. I didn't have too many issues with the runners fitting up. Hayden definitely gave me some good tips, and yeah, this just came out great. Super stoked. There's still some things I need to do before it is completely done. I need to cut out a hole in each collector, and we have to add the flanges for the wastegates. These guys are right there. So we still have to put these on for our wastegates, but I will do that later on. I can do that at the shop. And then another thing I think we are going to do is we're also going to weld the inside of the collectors right here. There's this line right there where the metal kind of meets together. We're going to weld that up, and then we're going to weld around the inside on both collectors, and then also weld on the inside of the runners just to help make it last longer. And yeah, but I am done for tonight. It is a little bit after midnight right now. Stayed up late once again working on the MR2. But before I call it for tonight, I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this thing onto the engine and hang the turbos up just to make sure everything is looking as it should, because after welding, the metal is gonna distort just a little bit. But yeah, everything should be where it needs to be, and I'm gonna check that right now. All right, I got the manifold back on, got both turbos back on, and everything is looking great. And guys, just take a look at this manifold. This thing is just freaking ridiculous. I just can't stop staring at it. The colors came out amazing, and now that it's all bolted back together, it just looks so much more different than when it was mocked up. Like now that it has the color in it, it just looks insane. Like I don't even know what I'm doing. Like what is this thing? I just can't stop looking at that. I am just so interested to see how this setup works. And I guess even if it doesn't work out great, at least it looks really cool. So you know what? It will always have that. Something else I forgot to mention is that I did have to barely grind the block right here for this runner to clear, but it does clear now. I just had to take a little grinder to that, but it's all good now. And yeah, honestly, I'm probably gonna shut the camera off and just admire my, my handiwork for a good few minutes, because I'm really impressed. That came out freaking sick. I am pumped. But yeah, I'm gonna go to bed for tonight. And man, yeah, she has a manifold, guys. So I guess tomorrow morning I'm gonna push this thing back onto the trailer. I think Hayden should be here, so hopefully he can help me. And I'm gonna take this back to the shop, and we'll just keep going from there. And then we got to get an exhaust ran, and I already talked about the wastegates. Still a lot more to do, but damn, we got a manifold, and it came out freaking sick. Look at that, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm really happy with that. And yeah, we will continue this video tomorrow. Am I good enough to start making manifolds for you yet?
Sure. If you want. I got a couple that need to be made.
What do you think though? It's not too bad.
No, I think it looks good, dude.
I think it looks pretty sick.
I mean, it's better than your last one. So.
Yeah, they're getting better.
Yeah, as long as you're doing better than the last one, you're doing good.
I finally cleaned one off and back purged it all.
Yep.
It looks freaking titties.
But get it how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, Hayden's teaching me right. But we're gonna go ahead and get the MR2 loaded up to bring this thing back to the shop. Gotta move my hatch out of the way real quick because the MR2 took its spot. And yeah, we already got the truck hooked up to the trailer. So we're getting ready to head out. And I did see the last video, guys. You crushed the likes. So that means I do need to start pulling this transmission apart and get that stuff sent out to get the minivan fixed. I'm gonna bring this transmission with me as well today, and I'm gonna try to have that gear and input shaft sent out tomorrow. So I need to make some phone calls today just to double check what I need to do, but I'm gonna get on that. Promise is a promise, and the minivan will be back up and going, well, once I get all that sent out and they give me some parts back. But we're gonna go ahead and get this girl loaded up and bring her back to the shop. got the MR2 back at the shop. Hayden had to pull his RX-7 out because he left it here a couple days ago because it was raining really bad when he came to dyno that thing. But his RX-7 did make, what was it, like 613 wheel horsepower?
610-ish.
So that was pretty sweet.
Yep.
But he just didn't want to drive it home in the rain, so he left it here. Just got it pulled out, got the MR2 back in, and we got the S14 on the lift right now. I did a quick little video on this while Hayden was dynoing his RX-7. It's only a couple minutes long. I just kind of went through it to find out what happened to it. So I will be ending this video with that clip. But the MR2 has a manifold. So like I said, all that it needs to get done is get those wastegates on there. And yeah, that will be one less thing out of the way. And then we can figure out what else we need to get this thing up and going. So huge thanks to Hayden for giving me some pointers on that. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. So I'm over at the shop right now. Hayden is dynoing his RX-7. And while he is doing that, I went ahead and took a look at the 240. I pulled the valve cover off and just made sure that all the rocker arms were in place and everything like that. And when I pulled the spark plugs out after I did that, I found out that the #1 cylinder, or the #1 piston, is definitely a little hurt. So this is the spark plug out of the first cylinder. Kind of hard to see, but I don't know if either a chunk of the piston kind of came off, or I don't know how this happened. I'm guessing it was detonation actually, but you can see the bottom of the spark plug right there is completely smashed in. So obviously #1 was not firing at all, and that's why it sounded like a Subaru. And there's also little bits of aluminum like speckle all over the bottom of the plug. And from what I can tell, looking into the hole of the piston from up top, the piston just looks like it had little pits in it, but it didn't look like it was too bad. I can't really tell how bad the piston is around the edges, if anything is melted or anything like that. I do have the valve cover and everything back on right now. What I was getting ready to do was I actually just went ahead and put a different spark plug in there, and I put everything back together, and I was gonna try to start it up just to see if it sounded better. And I was turning the motor over, and I somehow messed up the timing. I spun it the wrong rotation that the motor goes, like the wrong way, and it started to skip teeth on the timing, and then it would not start after that. So the timing is way off right now, and it won't run. But I think at this point, I'm probably just gonna end up pulling the head on this thing later on and just double check what the damage is. And worst case scenario, everything else looks to be okay. I think if I just spent a day, I could pull the head and drop the pan and just replace the piston if it is that bad, and then just like ball hone the cylinder out if it's not too bad in there. But unfortunately, it does look like the motor is hurt pretty bad. I was hoping I could just throw that other spark plug in there and see if it would just run fine like that and just send it, but I did mess up the timing a little bit. And yeah, we're gonna have to spend a full day on this to get it back up and going. But I think this motor can be saved. It's not too bad. And the K-swap is gonna have to wait on this thing, because I would like to just keep the SR running, because I am not ready to take on another project of K-swapping this thing. And if we can just get this fixed in a day, then we can go out and rip it again. But yeah, that is an update on the 240. She is a little hurt, but shouldn't be too bad to get this thing back up and running.